All right. Okay. So most people would have eventually seen the first game, Trinidad versus Jamaica. TTFF eventually had the game and they have it online. And most people would have seen how horrible the game itself looked, how it sounded, how subpar quality it was. The sad part is that this is a product that the JFF put out on their YouTube page, and that was a page you had to pay for. So, unfortunately, some people paid $9.99 US to watch that trash. What I could safely say is, for me, you could take me out of Trinidad, but you can't take the Trinidadian out of me. So I found a link eventually, and I watched the game via somebody's TikTok live. So while watching the game, through all the hearts and through all the gifts she was getting, I was able to see most of the second half, and honestly, it was unimpressive. The football was weak. The football was slow. It had nothing to talk about. So that was just last night when I was looking at that TikTok stream. So I say, you know what? Let me be fair and go back and watch the game. The start of the game looked like, I don't know how many people remember Atari, when you're playing a game on Atari and you're seeing pixels moving across the screen. When you're playing Pac-Man, when you're playing them kind of block games, Tetris, that's how the football looked. And again, people paid $9.99 US for this. The quality of the football, no, sorry, talk about the game itself, how it looked. The announcers, you weren't hearing them clearly. You didn't know if they were speaking to each other just privately or they were actually announcing the game. They didn't know any of the Trinidadians' names really. It had no kind of replay. So let's just be appreciative of what we have in terms of like for our league and the couple games that we do get to see. And thank God we get games on Sportsmax because the JFF seems like they have plenty work to do still. All right, enough of that. People paid. Unfortunately, I will definitely say you all got ripped off. The game now. It was two locally based groups with a sprinkle, one or two international players, but really and truly, it was kind of equal. Despite that, the game should never, and I say international friendlies, should never look like that. It should never be that slow. I was watching football, people had walking pace. I am honestly sure that our greatest possession in that game was in our third because our three defenders at the back just keep passing the ball to each other, walking around to each other. Jamaica wasn't pressing because, again, they kind of feeling out the game. And it was kind of sad to watch, actually. I know that when you listen to both coaches before the game and you saw their strategy during the game and even talking after the game, they sound pretty similar. Like they just brought on players to really see what they could do, see who they could add to their full strength team because these are the fringe players. But I mean, if we be honest, I don't really see anybody that from that group that stood out that say we could add. I saw Trimmingham had a good game in the center of the defense, but again, he wasn't being pressed and it It was no fast-paced energy game. So maybe he could give something. Stefan Yates is already on the team and he had some decisive balls. The game was so slow that Kevin Molino looked comfortable, and not knocking Kevin Molino because I know there are games that he looks really good, but he was just able to slice through, do whatever he wants to do, because again it was a walking pace game. Steve McLaren talked about it was a full-backs game. Trinidad started with 3 at the back. We played 5 in the middle and 2 on top, which would always convert to, if we attacking, it would have 4 on top, 3 in the middle, 3 in the back. Or if we defending, it would be 2, 3, 5, because the fullbacks would fall back. They did that somewhat. I like this player, and I reach out to him, we talk a little bit, and I don't know if it was just how it looked in the game. And when I looked at the game today over on the TTFF page, I didn't even realize Noah Powder was playing until about the 70th minute. Darrell Zoom Zoom came on, he injected a little bit of energy. He got one shot off when ideally he should have probably passed it, but that is youthful exuberance. He went around the defender, probably looked up and saw the keeper and thought, hey, he should take the shot. He took it. It was all right. Isaiah Lee, come on. He hasn't been the same person since in Dakar days. And I know he has been playing for local clubs and that kind of thing, but he didn't show up. He didn't look anyway impressive. The game kind of changed in about so to say all of that, everybody just kind of cancel off each other. Jamaica had a few runs which was broken up. Trinidad had a few runs which was broken up. And because it was slow, Jamaica literally matched our energy. They played slow, and they brought on some players in about the 70th minute, which kind of upped the pace. 2 people in the middle of the park kind of upped the pace, and Trinidad didn't respond to that. And Suli Makala, who actually is typically a centre-back, but now playing a little bit higher for his club, Mount Pleasant. They call him Captain Fabulous for a reason, because we've seen, and because we get to see him more at the JPL and our league, we've seen Suli Makala make runs up in front time and time again. Trimmingham came off and Jesse Williams came on. No knock on Jesse Williams, but you could see he was kind of out of place. He wasn't really marking. Suli Makala was up in the box. He should have been closer. But again, he's an unattached player. So sometimes those little skills just fall off if you're not really playing consistent football. So again, no knock. As the coach said, it's not really about the result, but it's about who could be added to the team when we have these long stretch of games going on. We had the Cuba games, we have possibly a lot of games in June and moving forward. So I want to see what we do Sunday. As I say, we saw a bit of Garcia, Zoom, so hopefully he get a little more time out. Lindell Swin would have to play. Natty would get to play. I didn't see him. And hopefully we get a better result. Even if not a better result, please, at least run. At least run. Show us that you want to run, you want to play. Because I think we get caught up with it being an international friendly and people probably don't want to get injured, which is fair. But that walking pace, the commentators, a few times I heard them, They were talking about how slow the game is, and I know the coach said we're trying to see where we are and how we match up against Jamaica. But if you go and you're playing football and you're walking and you're passing the ball, we had some good interplay on the right wing. We had one or two good in their box where we almost had 2 chances to score, I think, in the game. But that possession in the back, and I know the coach talk about attacking football. And again, when Stephanie Yates have the ball, giving it to Molino, he gains some plays in the middle. But that is broken up because Sully McCullough is now a defensive midfielder, top of the triangle, and he's breaking up the plays, which I'm assuming we would have had Noah Powder to be doing. But as I say, I really didn't realize he was on the park until about the 70th minute. So we have some work to do. To be fair, we're making some strides. We're seeing a different formation. We're seeing some different plays. So we know the coach has that influence. And we honestly looking for a better game on Sunday. Tell me your thoughts. Tell me what you saw in the game that stood out. And what do you think we need to improve? What do you think looked good? What the coach brought? What Latipi and them, what King and them bring differently? Because I'm not pushing any panic buttons as yet, but I ain't really see too much different, like to say, yeah, boy, we changing up our culture, we becoming more aggressive, or we probably just not there as yet. Again, tell me your thoughts.